but this is Dr. Harry Markowitz, and we're here at the Valley High Restaurant in San Diego. We're going outside so I can ask him a few questions. So this is really exciting for me. It's not every day that I get to talk to a Nobel Prize winner, so it's really an honor to have you here.
I talk to him frequently. I mean, even when I'm not talking to myself, but keep going, Bill.
But it's really an honor to have you here to
pleasure.
Support Sheryl Rowling and her business and what she does at Total Rebalance Expert. And so I want to know your story with Sheryl and your connection and how far you go back.
Well, I don't remember. I have 4 little offices, and I compartmentalize my time. Because there's time when I spend walking with interesting people for lunch, a mile or so, and time I spend with my clients, and time I spend writing my book. So right now I'm down to Mondays and Tuesdays are when I talk with interesting people for lunch, and Wednesday and Friday I'm at Brewer's Bagels writing my book because if I'm at the office I'm talking with interesting people, and on Thursday I'm at GuidedChoice, which is 401k advisory service that has McDonald's as its biggest client and so on. Okay, well, some way in the distant past, Sheryl must have called and said, "Can we have lunch? Should we walk for a mile or so?"
So what's so interesting about Sheryl?
Well, I always love people who start up enterprises. Then she is in the harvesting tax business. Okay, and also she does mean variance analysis with Monte Carlo and so, et cetera, like everybody else does. Now, the thing that's more interesting is my conversation with Lorenzo. Really? It turns out that he has a copy of my Chapter 11, and he hasn't read it yet. And my Chapter 11 shows how you ought to do mean variance analysis when you have tax advantaged accounts. Like, instead of thinking of how much big cap, you have to think about, I think of AC look, asset class locations. Mm-hmm. So a big cap fund in a taxable account is a different object than an AC look, than a big cap fund in a tax deferred account, which is different than a never taxed account. And I was explaining to him how you do it, which is hard to do in front of a camera, but this is a very interesting event to me. I'm proselytizing.
You're doing a great job.
I love it.
Now, I'm certainly aware of a lot of startups and money going into new enterprises, new startups that want to automate efficient portfolio management and not have any advisors participate in that portfolio management. But Sheryl and her team at TRX built a solution for advisors. Where do you fall on equipping advisors with solutions or removing advisors from portfolio decision making? Where do you think the line is drawn?
Well, this is not a completely unbiased
So you have a horse in this race.
I have a dozen horses in this race. Maybe only 10. Let me tell you how I make a living besides teaching once in a while at UCSD. I'm a consultant. My largest account is, in terms of how much they pay me, is First Global of Texas. And their efficient frontier was computed in my office. We did a whole bunch of them with different constraint sets. We offered it to the boss man, Tony Batman, his name is Batman, and he chose one. My second largest client is in La Jolla, a GuidedChoice 401k advisory service. Their biggest client is McDonald's with the hamburgers.
Right.
They got thousands of accounts, not only participants, but account through their Charles Schwab, and we do, mean variance analysis.
Right.
So when I was grilling Lorenzo, I said, "What are your asset classes and who chose them? How do you make your forward-look?" You never got around to answering the question of how you make your forward-looking estimate. How do you make your It is true. The great motto, the great motto of software? You know the great motto of software.
Oh, I wrote software for 10 years, but it escapes me.
What is the great motto. Is it FIFO?
Oh, garbage in, garbage out.
Garbage in, garbage out. And if you have a computer, you can generate garbage that nobody can understand.
Absolutely true.
So what keeps a mean variance analysis from being garbage? Well, first question is mean variance analysis of what? Not return this year, maybe in terms of this optimized tax cognizant. See, there's a funny thing. You take an asset class like big cap in taxable and big cap in tax deferred. And what is the dollar worth of taxable worth as compared to $1 worth of tax deferred? Well, look, if the guy is going to live 40 years and then invest, if he's going to accumulate for 40 years and then live off of it for another 30 years, it's worth a lot. But if he's going to retire next year, he's going to convert long-term capital gain into income.
Right.
So it's got to depend on scenarios, et cetera, et cetera. So, garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah. So this is where the gray matter and the gray cells really make a difference.
Yes, sir. And a team, there are certain things that are done best by team and certain done by own. We were talking about programming. Programming is an individual. One smart. I find that the best programmers are mathematicians. Programmers are not programmers, they're coders. And you have to spell them out, and there can be many a slip between what you tell them and what they understand. Which, if in case of a database, that runs a business, nobody will know about that slip until 20 years later, when what you told him was not what he heard. What he heard is not he programmed, etc. Anyway.
Well, Dr. Markowitz, it's been a real privilege and an honor to
pleasure.
speak with you.
Is
Thank
that
you
all
so
we're going to
much.
do? I'm
That's
having
all
so
we're
much
going to
fun.
do.
Maybe I have to go inside and have fun.
Yes,
Thanks a million,
let's
Bill.
do that. Thank you
My
so
pleasure.
much.